It's a reminder of a story that in the light of our experiences of the last days gives us the possibility of realizing its deep meaning. It's the story of that man called Abdul Malik, and he was a merchant, and we know that merchants are those who know the ways of life, the thrust and parry, the bargaining, the trading that goes on in that world of existence. But Abdul Malik was a successful merchant in the sense that he became materially wealthy. But he was known as the generous man of Khorasan because he gave freely of his wealth. But one day, Abdul Malik realized that the pleasure he gained from giving far outweighed that which he was giving, and realized that this was selfish. So in that instant, he decided that he would relinquish all. He gave away all that he had. He became bereft, empty, voided. But in that state, he sat down in meditation, and to his very great surprise, in the space that was before him, there arose an apparition in the form of a dervish, turban on his head, patchwork cloak around his shoulders, straw sandals on his feet. And this apparition spoke to Abdul Malik, and it said, "I am your real self that can be revealed to you because of your sacrifice of all that was once real to you. And if you strike me with this stick, I will turn to gold. But have no fear that this gold is finite, because it comes from the source and is never ending." So indeed, Abdul Malik took the stick that he was given and beat the apparition, which immediately turned to gold, which, as was said to him by that apparition, "Use the gold as you will." So from that time on, Abdul Malik freely gave, each day beating the image that was himself, to leave the gold that was himself, which he could disseminate as was needed. Now it so happened that there was a visitor one day to Abdul Malik who happened to witness what happened when the apparition arose and was beaten and was turned into gold, because, of course, Abdul Malik shared that gold with his visitor. But immediately the visitor thought that this was a special power that dervishes had. So he decided that he would emulate what was done to gain the wealth for himself. So this friend, or acquaintance as indeed he was, gathered together, inviting to a feast all the dervishes that he could find. And when they all amassed at the feast, he took a rod and he beat them mercilessly. But nothing happened. So the police were called, and they took away this man and took him to court, and he told the story to the court about what he had witnessed in Abdul Malik's house, and stating that because Abdul Malik was able to do this, he should be able to do it too. So of course Abdul Malik was called to bear witness to what had been said. But on the way to the courthouse, Abdul Malik was given the words that he was to speak to the magistrate. After saying these words, the man was hauled off to the insane asylum until he gained his senses back. But of course the end of the story is that Abdul Malik continued to beat the self that was his real self, to reveal the gold which he disseminated as needed at all levels for the rest of his life. So the several questions that arise from this story. First of all, on our level of cognizance of it as a story, what would you perceive as the words that came to Abdul Malik to speak to the magistrate? And what is this stick that we have to ensure that we can never go back to the way we were, and to ensure that that gold of the real self is ever present for us, to be disseminated as needed in all ways, at all levels. As the apparition said, never fear that this is finite, because it comes from the source of all. What do you envisage as the words that Abdul Malik spoke to the magistrate? And what is it that we have now, this stick that not only ensures that we cannot go back to what we were, to make the unreal real, as is said, and to bring forth the gold, unceasing, from the source of all, available to us to disseminate as we will.